Starfield gameplay footage is finally here, and I am super excited. It's everything I wanted and more from this game. My name is Paul Shelley, this is the Astropub, and I'm here to tell you that if you like space and science fiction like I do, why you should be excited for Starfield, with maybe a little bit of tampering expectations along the way. But before I get started, I wanted to let you know that I've already done 2 Starfield lore videos and plan on doing more. So if you are going to be following Starfield like I am in the near future, you want to know a little bit more about the settled systems, then think about hitting that subscribe button. I'll be covering stuff all the way up to the release of the game. Now, it's important to remember that Starfield was delayed until 2023, the first half of 2023. What that means, we don't know. And it's quite possible that Starfield itself will get delayed even further down the line. Things like this can happen. So, unfortunately, we won't be seeing this game this year, but it does mean that we'll probably see more information than we usually do about Bethesda games because of this delay. Seeing more gameplay footage, possibly some more details that we can get before the game fully launches. We do know for sure that it runs on the Creation Engine. This is a new-ish version of the Creation Engine, but it's still the Creation Engine. And from one look at it, the gameplay footage that you're seeing right now on screen, that is 100% the Creation Engine. It looks dead on for Fallout 76 or Fallout 4. Even the combat gameplay looks the same. And I would say it's probably even an alpha version of what we're seeing. Like, this is alpha footage based off of the jank of the AI running around and a little bit of the stutters here and there. Obviously, some of this is scripted, but it looks like it's gameplay. Probably going to get a little bit better than this, and worse as time goes on, as game development tends to be. But it looks like a genuine successor for the Fallout 4 gunplay. Say what you want about Fallout 4 story or its characters, but its functional combat gameplay was fantastic. It was tight, it was great. People loved the power armor. It is not a bad game to play. There are some other problems with it, which hopefully Bethesda will address in Starfield. They also seem to be adding crafting, or not really crafting, but improvements, engineering to improve existing weapons and possibly suits and armor and ship components possibly, who knows. This is going to incentivize exploration, because for all of these research projects, you're going to need resources. And to get those resources, you're going to have to go mine, or you're going to have to establish a base. So this sounds like a cool sort of feedback loop to encourage you to explore. So this game seems to be solidly rooted into more of an exploration game than anything else. It's got its hardcore RPG base, but encouraging you to leave, go out of your comfort zone to try to get the next juicy upgrade. It's hard to tell exactly how exploration will work, though. It might be limited. The 1,000 planets, that is a good and a bad thing. Here's the reality. Anyone who's played No Man's Sky or Elite Dangerous knows that when you have a ton of planets, you're probably not going to have a lot of planets that are unique. It does allow for future expansions. So there are some good sides to it, and it'll allow for a lot of diversified, play your own game sort of content. But it's not going to be handcrafted content. So you're going to see probably a lot of procedural generation or cookie cutter. And that brings me on to my next topic, hold X to land. See that on the screen right now. That does not bode well for those of you who wanted to have atmospheric flight or be able to land anywhere you want on a planet. This isn't Elite, this isn't Star Citizen, it's Starfield. And it seems like what they're probably going to do, this is just a theory based off my first reactions, they're probably going to do is you'll choose a place to land, and they will then cut you into a cutscene. You'll go down to land on the planet or moon, and when you get there, that region is going to be one of many stock regions that they have built, which will allow you to explore this area. maybe a handful of different biomes that there'll be cookie cutter repeating or possibly procedural generation involved, where they'll take those biomes and move them around a little bit. But it is not going to be 1,000 planets. They're going to probably cheat a little bit, which is fine as long as the gameplay is fun and, you know, they can add in those handcrafted elements later if they need to. It does mean, though, that exploration will probably not be the same scale as, say, Elite, which I know a lot of people want, or Star Citizen, where you can just go anywhere you like. There's probably going to be some limitations due to the engine, to the fact that it's on both PC and Xbox. But in general, it looks pretty good. It's going to be a great sort of starter game, is what I'm saying, for those of people who want to play in space but don't necessarily have the confidence to hop into a Cobra or take their Aurora out for a spin. The story, that's the big one for me, because I'm also a lore person, and the lore seemed to be moving in a direction, and I almost nailed it. I'm gonna pat myself on the back there and say I nailed that one. The story seems to be perfect for the kind of game they're building. They're building a game that's about you, encourage you to explore, to go out and look at other planets because you're trying to find these artifacts, to some grand galactic mystery. Probably aliens, could not be, we'll see. But as a result, going out into the universe and exploring, you're going to need logistics, you're going to need help, you're going to need resources, you're going to need bullets, you're going to need power, whatever. These things are going to be required, so it's going to require you to do base building and find other people to help you run those bases. Now, when I saw base building and I saw the full way that the customizable bases work, I was both happy and I'm still a little apprehensive. I still remember another settlement needs your help, and I hated Fallout 4's system for that. I liked Fallout 4's building system. It needed tweaks, but it was a good start. So I'm hoping that Starfield sort of progresses along those lines as well. And customizable ships, that surprised the heck out of me. You can build your own ships out of Lego parts. That's cool. The downside is that it's likely going to lead to meta ships, this ship being the best sort of ship, period, for this configuration. And it'll also lead to most of the ships being sort of samey. It actually reminds me a lot of Rebel Galaxy Outlaw, which is an old game now, but it feels so sort of like that, where you're seeing ships which are fairly similar, with which you can customize for specific roles as need be. And going on to that, the spaceflight everyone is comparing to No Man's Sky. And yes, you can fly in Starfield. The biggest contention of the community for several years was, could you fly in Starfield? The answer, yes. Yes, you can fly in Starfield. Now, I've seen some people who are complaining, oh, this looks very arcadey, or No Man's Sky. And I say, yes, because it's a console game. This is a Bethesda game at the end of the day. It needs to appeal to people, to very specific types of people. So it looks fun. It looks great. Just don't expect it to be Star Citizen or DCS. It's going to be a little bit more loosey on that. And in fact, we may not even be able to leave our seats once the ship is taken off. I hope so, but we'll see about that. Lastly, the crewing. This might mean nothing. It might mean everything. Maybe potentially you have turrets that crew members could use, so when you fire, they'll fire that same direction, or increase your boosts fuel or your shields or whatever. So for bases and for ships, they could be requirements, or they could be nice to have. So hopefully we'll see more in the future. That's my initial thoughts on that gameplay trailer. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like. It helps me out a lot. And come on back to watch some more Starfield in the near future. Like I say every time, hope to see you someday in the black.